And I was like, whoa, it's like a real model. Holy cow, what am I gonna do? Your mistakes can definitely haunt you. Oh, that was painful. I'm self-taught. I didn't go to school. I didn't come up as an assistant. I just sort of picked up a camera and started shooting people. And I fumbled and bumbled a lot. I made a lot of mistakes early on. Hopefully I'm not making most of those same mistakes nowadays. It's so funny, once you start shooting a lot and social media, and then people start coming to you and kind of like asking, how do you do this? Asking about techniques, asking about process, that kind of stuff, asking for advice. It was really hard for me at first to give advice because I didn't really intellectualize what I was doing. And that's been pretty cool, especially since having this YouTube channel and talking about what I do. I've had to sort of unpack it, reverse engineer it, figure out exactly what am I doing? What am I not doing? What have I learned? Because some of this stuff is just filed away in the back of your brain instinctually, but it's not like a checklist right in front of you. Well, today I'm gonna give you a checklist right in front of you of a bunch of the mistakes that I've made over the years shooting portraits. Hopefully this will help you out. Hopefully these are some things for you to avoid. Our mistakes can haunt us. As much as our amazing favorite shots inspire us and we're proud of them, it's the missed shots, the missed opportunities that really haunt you. I'm trying to protect you from some of those. Let's get into this. Welcome to Adventure in Art. My name is Ben Staley, your resident talking head. Let's go.
Oh, I love that shape.
Like, how cool is that?
That is so sick.
So just finding those weird angles is the way, and then I'll just try and get in the right spot.
Yeah, I love how you've got like the
negative and the...
Yeah.
It's like, that's a story.
That's such a story.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right off the bat, here's something I think about every single time I go out to shoot. One of my early mentors was actually a cinematographer. I learned about photography, I learned about composition, I learned about lighting, I learned about lenses, all through shooting video. I am a filmmaker. When I was learning how to be a filmmaker and run around with a video camera, what I did a lot was sit down interviews, little doc projects, little commercial doc projects, messaging projects. So you're always doing the sit down interview. I didn't know a darn thing about lenses or lighting or anything. Always had a pretty good eye for composition. Well, one of my early mentors was actually a kind of famous cinematographer. He shot some of the biggest movies of all time with really famous people, Julia Roberts, stuff like that. Well, he was an early friend and mentor, and I would show him my work. One time, he's looking at this interview that I shot, which is, what's a sit-down interview? It's basically a video portrait, right? And he's looking at this and he goes, the camera's too low. And I knew this in my gut. And he called me on it right away. And I was like, yeah, I was in a hurry and I was kind of lazy, and we had this janky old tripod, and he stopped and he goes, don't be lazy and take the time. Take the time to fix something if you see it. And that's just stayed with me. I can hear his voice now. So that was a mistake that I made. That was a thing that I fumbled on, and I got called out on it. So just first piece of advice, if you see something out of place, if something's amiss, if it's not quite right, take a few seconds, take a few minutes if you have to. Don't be afraid to stop and fix things. Listen to your instincts. So much about good photography is instinct. Just something's amiss, something needs fixed. Pay attention to that little nagging voice, the little bells that ring in the back of your head. Ding, 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 something is off. Stop, examine, fix it. Could be a collar that's out of place, could be some hair, could be an eyebrow, could be an eyelash on the cheek, could be any number of things. Pay attention to that little voice. Also, I'm kind of lumping these first things because it's very important. Pay attention to the hands and feet. If you're doing a wider, more environmental portrait, you got a hand half out, you got a foot half out. Early on, I was so focused in on the face and the eyes that I missed sometimes something distracting in the background. if it's a wider shot, maybe there's something just slightly out of place, maybe you're off kilter, whatever it is, pay attention to the details. Now, as you progress, you definitely do this because you're haunted by all the times that you didn't. So I'm looking at the whole frame now, just generally, and it's pretty easy to know where the light's coming from and to get a general composition. And then you start looking at the details. Moving on. Okay.
Yeah.
You're awesome. When I first started shooting portraits, I was just so excited to be shooting people and to have a camera in my hand. A lot of times I just rushed in, I was just so eager to get started. You've got to make sure that the person you are shooting is prepared, has their mindset ready. Look, what if somebody shows up and they spend an hour in traffic, or something's going on in their life and they're a little frazzled? If they're not sort of primed and ready and in the right headspace, you're not gonna get the kind of portrait you want. You're not gonna have the kind of connection with the person and the lens and you that you need. So, my advice is, and something that I didn't do early on, and it cost me at times, take the time to connect with someone beforehand. Look, say you have an hour for a shoot. I have no problem at all talking to someone for 45 minutes and then shooting for 15 minutes at the end. Hell, sometimes you only have a few minutes anyways. I just shot a music festival, and for some of the artists, I had literally 2-3 minutes. Like, it was like that. There was no time. Some of the artists, I had as much time as I wanted. They were willing to give that to me. But if it's a job, generally you'll have a little room, but sometimes you won't. If you're shooting a notable figure, sometimes you got to get all set up. They come in, bada bing, bada boom. You got to get your shot in a couple minutes. If you have the luxury of time, use it. And it doesn't mean you need to just shoot and shoot and shoot. You might spend a half an hour shooting a bunch of shots that are no good because that person isn't ready. If you need to take time to sit down, to talk about the weather, to talk about whatever, and get them on the same page, get your frequencies vibrating together, that's what it's all about, then take the time to do that. Don't be afraid to spend time getting connected. Good, straight on to me. One thing that really intimidated me early on, and I definitely failed at, was editing. Retouching. And look, there's a lot to learn about retouching and editing portraits and faces, and luckily we have this thing called YouTube, where there's a lot you can learn there. But it takes time, and every situation's unique. What I see a lot of people do early on, and I definitely did, I definitely failed, I would over edit images. I would over retouch them. And I'm talking like, I just thought, when I started shooting models and things, I need to learn all these techniques, frequency separation in Photoshop and all this stuff. How do I get rid of these blemishes and how do I do all this? It was very intimidating. I wasn't good at it. Truthfully, after all these years, I still don't think I'm that good at it. And when I have a big job, I just hire a retoucher. And honestly, that's what most photographers do. If you're a big fashion photographer, or you're doing beauty portraits, or you're doing high-end portraiture of important people, you're gonna hire a retoucher, someone who that's all they do. If you're starting out and you're trying to learn, you gotta do it yourself. I still do my personal work myself. I've gotten better at it. I don't over edit anymore. In fact, maybe I go too much on the other side. I like things really authentic and natural. I'll take out like blemishes or pimples or little things like that. Scars, beauty marks, stuff like that, it stays in there. I keep things looking really, really authentic, and I get the light right on the day. So most of the work is done in the actual session. Later, I don't have to do a lot. I can tweak the contrast, touch up a few things, and boom, I'm good to go. Now there's also, it's like every day I get contacted by a new AI company. Hey, do you want to try out our AI retouching program, service, app, whatever the heck it is? So there's a million of those out there now. I've reviewed Reblum, did a sponsored video for them on this channel, so you can go back in the history and see that. I'm still using that. It works really great. I'm not plugging them here, but I think it's good, and you can actually get pretty good results out of it. I've been using it for a few months. If you're new to portraits, don't be intimidated, but don't over edit. err on the side of less is more. We are emotional creatures. We're bouncing off each other in strange ways. We're sensing things about each other that a lot of times we can't put our finger on it, we can't articulate it, we don't really know where it comes from. I believe that we communicate on a vibrational level, a frequency level, and I don't really know any more than that, but it's just something I sense. People can sense if you are intimidated, if you're overwhelmed, if you're stressed, if you're afraid. They can smell your fear. It's like animals, wild animals, predators. They can smell your fear, right? You've got to learn to get control of your emotions. I've definitely failed in this area early on, and now sometimes stuff is really going wrong. I'm really stressed out and I'm charging in anyways. I'm not letting anyone see me sweat. I'm not letting them think I don't have my act together. It takes experience to get to this place. I don't want to say fake it till you make it, because I frickin' hate that statement. I think you should be authentic with where you're at, but you also must project an air of confidence. Now, you still have to deliver. So if you're afraid, listen to those signals. Those are telling you that something's not right. You need to step up, you need to change things, you need to make things better. Listen to those emotions. They're valuable. But you don't need to broadcast them to everyone else, and you can still take the time you need and project an air of confidence. The music festival I was talking about, I had to shoot one of the biggest bands there, and we had talked about this with their manager for like 2 days, and they had this narrow window right before they were gonna go on stage and do this big performance, and they wanted a group band shot. And they're just like, yeah, we'll do it down in the dressing room. And I'm like, that's like a dark hole underneath the stage. I'm gonna tell this story in detail in a later video, but I was stressed about this all day, like super stressed. And I'm like, I didn't have a light. I had this really crummy area. I had very little time, and they were excited to shoot with me. And I didn't know what the hell I was gonna do, and I was really stressed about it. So did I let them know I was stressed about it? Hell no, I did not. Did I make a good portrait? I think I did. We'll get into that later, but don't let them see you sweat. Don't let them see you sweat. It's not gonna help anybody. You can go off the rails and you can lose somebody. You can lose the subject. I think I've blabbed enough about this. Don't let them see you sweat. Your mistakes can definitely haunt you. I think about this one shoot kind of often. Like, early on, I shot a friend of mine, Andy, down here. Andy's an actor. I haven't seen Andy in years. I wonder how he's doing. What a great dude. But I just invited him out here. I'm like, Andy, come out. I'm gonna try and shoot under this bridge. He's like, awesome, Ben. I'd never worked with him as a photographer. We're just friends. He's a working commercial actor. He drives all the way out here, comes out under the bridge. He brought a bunch of clothes. We got some great photos. I mean, I think they still hold up. And he went back, he showed a whole bunch of his actor friends and a bunch of people, and pretty soon I had all these people calling me. A little time goes by, I get a chance to shoot this model, who is, where I was at the time, the most famous model I had ever shot. Like, she had been just wrapped up, had been on TV on this show, America's Next Top Model, this reality show, and she had gotten like right to the end or something, and so she had some juice. She wanted to shoot with me, and I was like, whoa, this is like a real model. Holy cow, what am I gonna do? We get on the phone, and she's like, yeah, and I got my friend who's a stylist, and I got my other friend who's a makeup artist, and it's gonna be awesome, and I love your work. And she was gonna drive all the way out here to my studio. And I pick a time, like hour and a half before sunset. Late daylight is the best. I always knew that early on. The time comes, she doesn't show up. 10 minutes later, text me, oh, sorry, we're running late with the makeup, I'm on my way. Half hour goes by. We're almost there. Now it's like 10 minutes to sunset. Like, all the good light is gone. Finally shows up. The light's gone, like, and she looks amazing. She looks amazing. She's with her friend who's styling her out and helping her with clothes, and I wanted to shoot her so bad. And I tried. And I got some pictures. I mean, I'm not gonna show you, because I don't want you to know who she is. I don't know if she's famous anymore, what she's doing. I haven't talked to her in years. Didn't talk to her after that, because I don't think she liked the photos. A couple of them were okay. If someone can't live up to the agreement and just respect your time, then you got to tap out. And especially if you're just shooting with available light under a bridge like this and the light's gone, look, sorry, you're over an hour late, there's no light. Now, I learned that the hard way, and she probably thought, oh yeah, Ben's, I know her thought was, yeah, Ben sucks as a photographer, but yeah, I didn't get very good pictures because she showed up an hour and a half late or almost an hour and a half late. So now, if it's a job and people are paying you, they generally show up on time. If they don't, sorry, I'll still leave. Unless, of course, it's like an act of God. If they're just wasting your time, fine. It's like, okay, you booked me for an hour and you show up a half hour late, we got to get it done in a half an hour. And that's the way it works. That's the way it works. I'm a professional. I treat people professionally. I expect to be treated that way too. If it's a collaboration, even if somebody's a little bit famous or well-known, or now it's like social media, oh, they've got all these followers. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck. You show up when we agreed, or I'm leaving. And that's happened. People don't respect your time, especially if it's a collaboration situation. They just think, whatever, it doesn't matter. It was free anyways. Just be careful who you collaborate with. If you don't respect your time, they won't either. So respect your time and expect people to show up on time. I definitely made that mistake early on, and I don't anymore. One mistake that I've made a few times is not prepping the night before, especially if it's just like kind of a casual thing. If it's a job, I prep ruthlessly. But sometimes if it's a casual shoot or whatever, look, I've shown up down here and didn't have a card in the camera. Oops. I've shown up here and had half a battery in the camera. Or my lens was dirty, or the sensor was dirty. If you stop down and then later you're looking and you've got little specks on your sensor that show up on the image because you're shooting like at an F-16 or something, that's a bummer. So look, one thing you can do to make sure a shoot is gonna go off without a hitch is prep the night before. Just lay out everything you need, even if it's just a simple camera and a lens. It's just one little thing. Fine, lay it out, have a couple spare batteries, have a couple cards, have your tripod, have whatever. Just take 5 minutes, clean your lenses, look at your sensor, make sure there's no dust on it. Bada bing, bada boom. Early on, I was a little more cavalier about things. And look, I could be guilty of that occasionally now because I'm doing a lot and I just grab stuff and get out there and, oh crap. But stay prepped. If it's an important shoot, definitely prep the night before. So you just get up, everything's dialed in, maybe you take one last look at it before you go out the door, bada bing, bada boom. Don't show up to a shoot unprepared. I can't really stress how important communication is if you're the photographer. And I think early on, maybe I was reticent to communicate my intent, or I didn't really know my intent. I just wanted to get in there and mix things up and figure out what I could do. Well, if you are a pro, people hire you for very specific things generally, and they want you to communicate how that's going to work, how it's going to go, and you're dealing with a team, a stylist, makeup artist, hair artist, people to help you with lighting, maybe your gaffer. So you've got to communicate this whole vision about what you're trying to do. If you're just starting out and it's just you still need to approach it with that level of professionalism and detail. Look, it's not a bad thing if a model wants to know what's the vibe, what's it going to look like, what's the light like, what clothes should I wear, what's the environment, all these things. As much as you can communicate, get them on board, get that buy-in, it's going to make everything so much better, and they're going to use their own ideas. It's collaborative. Portraiture, I think, should be collaborative. The best stuff is what they give you, things that you haven't thought of, things that happen in the moment. So as much as you can communicate early on to whoever you're shooting, it makes everything better. I definitely failed to do that early on, and I would just be like, ah, yeah, we're gonna go to this spot, it's cool, you're gonna like it, trust me. That's not good enough. And I know better now, and I don't make that mistake anymore. One thing that's counterintuitive, and you'll hear this from people that are pros, the lowest paying jobs cause you the most stress. The big high paying awesome jobs, sometimes they cause you zero stress. There's no nonsense, they pay you on time, and it's no big deal. It's strange how that works. One time, I was in Alaska. I work up there a lot, and when I go up there, I generally stay extra time on my own because I have a ton of friends and family in Alaska because that's where I grew up. Well, this is well over a decade ago. This is a long time ago. But I was up there at the end of a job, and I think through Facebook or something, one of my friends from high school, this girl that I rode the bus with in high school, so this goes way back, she reached out to me. She's like, Ben, my daughter is about to graduate high school. Would you mind shooting some senior pictures of her? And I'm like, yeah, no problem, sure. She's like, how much will that cost? I was like, yeah, just give me $100 or something, that's fine. I just thought I was gonna show up and take a couple portraits of her daughter, who was like 17 or 18, about to graduate. And truthfully, I didn't budget very much time. I think, to be honest, maybe I was a little hungover. Should I put that in the video? Yeah, we're doing it, I'm being honest. So I was like not firing on all cylinders anyways, and I thought, oh, this will take me 20 minutes, a half hour, take a couple pictures. This girl shows up, she's got a huge bag full of all this wardrobe, and she's like, I wanna shoot here, I wanna go here, then we're gonna go over to this bridge, then we're doing this. And she had this whole, in her head, what we were gonna do was this whole big lifestyle shoot of her in all these outfits and all these areas around town. And I didn't know that kids in high school did that. Like, I never did that. I don't know anything about high school senior portraits. I was just trying to help out a friend. Sure, give me $100, no problem, whatever. That was a rough day. So my point is here, don't make that mistake. Communicate, find out what your client really wants. What are your deliverables? What are their expectations? And plan accordingly. Don't make that mistake. Oh, that was painful. Oh, by the way, the pictures were awesome. This might be kind of controversial, I don't know. It's like, don't let your gear stand in the way. I've made some of my best portraits with what would be considered subpar gear. Like, seriously, you guys. And especially looking back and seeing some of the stuff I did early on and what I actually had, it's laughable compared to what's available now. So if you have an old camera, if you don't have like a really expensive, nice portrait lens or whatever, don't let that get in your way. I definitely made that mistake early on before I had like really good gear, and I was just thinking, I need this and then I can do this. Don't let the gear stop you. I made that mistake early on. I don't make that anymore. I actually secretly have thought about this for several years since I started the YouTube channel. Is like, I kind of want to do a series where I just do portraiture with some really old cameras. Like maybe have some viewers just mail me your crappy old camera and I'm gonna go use it for a week and make some portraits and then I'll send it back. I'm thinking about doing that. Don't let the gear get in your way. Early on, I had a lot of stuff I wanted to do and I just thought I need to wait until I get better gear. Don't wait. Borrow something, use what you have, make something anyways. Surprise yourself, stretch, grow. It's not about the gear, you guys. Portraits are about connection and creativity. Find some good light. There's so much. I could talk for 3 hours about this, seriously, but I'm not gonna because I think this video is getting long. One thing that I definitely did a lot of times and I learned not to is I packed up my bag too soon. So look, it's a short, like 5-minute walk into this studio, but whether I'm shooting here or in the woods somewhere, or even in another studio, always leave my camera out, always. I'll carry it in my hand to the car, okay? Do not pack up your camera. In fact, when you get out of the car, have your camera in your hand. When you leave the studio or the location or whatever, have the camera in your hand until you get to your car. Always have your camera in your hand. Some of the best shots that I've ever gotten happened at the end, happened as someone was packing up, or inspiration strikes, or you see something, or the light changes, or whatever. I've missed things because I didn't have my camera handy. Always have your camera handy. Don't pack it up. Don't put it away. The shoot is never over. As a photographer, you should always have this thing within arm's reach anyways. I hope I haven't been too long-winded. Leave me a comment. Let me know if any of this was helpful. Let me know if you don't agree. That's cool too. You don't have to agree. My opinions are my own. They're nobody else's. That's fine. We don't all have to agree. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see. If I didn't cover something well enough, I can get into it more. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion. All right, get out there and shoot. That's where I'm going. And we'll see you soon. Later.